Chicago Cubs are struggling to win games. What will they do to get out of the slump?
The NBA playoffs have been nothing short of spectacular. We have the latest from the Thunder and Spurs series ahead of tonight's Game 6.
And Brock joins us for his big list of quarterbacks. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss it.
Hello and welcome to the season finale of the 303 Countdown. My name is Jonah White, joined by
Collin O'Callahan
and Tyler Bednar. If you look up the word streaky in Google, a picture of the 2026 Chicago Cubs will pop up. The team has had one of the most streaky seasons in recent MLB history, maybe even ever. Through 55 games, the team has had two 10-game winning streaks and one 10-game losing streak. Only the 2017 National League pennant-winning Dodgers have done that in the same regular season, and it took 143 games of their season for that to happen. Reminder, the Cubs aren't even 60 games into the season yet. From April 14th to May 8th, the team went 20-3. Since then, the team has gone 2-14. The team has been battled by pitching injuries all year long. Justin Steele has been recovering from Tommy John. Now last year's National League Rookie of the Year runner-up Cade Horton is out for the year with an elbow injury, and key members of the bullpen have been hurt. During the team's hot stretch, the offense really performed well, and the pitching staff just survived. Now the team has been unable to hit with runners in scoring position, and the team's injuries have caught up to them. It's up to the players and coaching staff to get the team back on track.
On the south side, the Sox have been surging, but they lost a heartbreaking game on Tuesday night to the Minnesota Twins. A game that featured more twists and turns than your typical MLB contest. It started with Sean Burke for the White Sox and Joe Ryan for the Twins going for pitcher's duel through 7 innings. 2-0 Twins until Munechaka Murakami, the Southside Samurai as some people call him, hitting his 19th home run to make it 2-2. But then it all set up for the Twins' Brooks Lee in the top of the 11th to hit a 3-run double, breaking the Sox hearts and winning the game by a final score of 5-3. But the Sox got their revenge and won the game 15-2 last night to get back above 500 ahead of the series finale this afternoon.
Well, at least one Chicago team is heading in the right direction, just like the Thunder, who need just one more win to make it back to the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City took Game 5 against the San Antonio Spurs Tuesday night by winning 127-114 to take back home court advantage. Without Jalen Williams or A.J. Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 32 points, while Jared McCain scored 20 points in his first career postseason start. Game 6 will be played tonight in San Antonio as Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs hope to force a Game 7.
Let's stay away from baseball because those Cubs are giving me a massive headache. Brock is here to serenade us with another flawless top 5. I'm sure we'll have no disagreements here, Brock.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the best segment in all of sports, Brock's Big List. Today, we are discussing the top 5 quarterbacks with the most to prove this upcoming season. Now, unlike some others in sports media, this list is not fluid, it's the real steel deal. So without further delay, let's get the party started at number 5. Bang, Jalen Hurts. He's low on this list because he's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one while being the MVP, but the mighty have fallen. Not only were the Eagles a wild card team, but they lost to the 49ers shortly after the season. Offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo was fired, and someone I view responsible for the Eagles' predictability. Saquon up the middle, Saquon up the middle, A.J. Brown deep ball. So a new coordinator will alleviate some of that pressure. However, it's a new scheme that Hurts will have to both learn and find comfort in, something he's no stranger to, but a challenge nonetheless. So let's keep the train moving. At number 4, can I have it, please? Dak Prescott. Now, it absolutely kills me to bring heat to my guy like this, but I'm a journalist first and a fan second. And the teleprompter just stopped. Numbers don't lie. Entering year 11 with 2 playoff wins as the highest paid at the position, that's not a good look. We've already discussed how Dallas had the best draft offensively, and they can light up the board with the best of them. A new defensive coordinator and chess pieces all across the gridiron to go with it. There are 0 excuses as far as I'm concerned. It's NFC Championship or bust for this team. So let's get back to the East Coast at number 3. Your eyes do not deceive you. I have Action Jackson at number 3. Oftentimes, when you have a talented team like the Ravens who just can't seem to put it together, the front office has to decide between quarterbacks or the coach as to why things aren't working. With John Harbaugh off to New York, the pressure just reached a new high. And the question is no longer are they a good team, because they'll be competitive, no doubt. But are they going to be that team, that quarterback, or just another team and just another quarterback? Guys like Tony Romo and Cam Newton are in the Hall of Very Good. Guys like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are in the Hall of Fame. So Lamar, the question is simple. Where do you want to be? At number 2 is number 9, Joe Burrow. Deciding between 2 and 3 was the hardest part of this list. The Bengals have started out 0-2 or worse 3 out of the last 4 seasons, and oftentimes it costs them when it's time for postseason play at the end of the year. When the Super Bowl was in one of my favorite cities, New Orleans, Joe got on national television and said Cincinnati needed to keep T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, which they did. It's obvious they needed defensive help, much like my Cowboys, so they spent 3 draft picks on defense and signed a premier defensive tackle in Dexter Lawrence. This team has all the elements to be a contender, not a pretender, this year. But games are won on turf and not in studios like this one, so the Bengals have plenty to do and not much time to do it. Before we get to number 1, I have an honorable mention. My fellow North Carolinian, Drake May. Is it impressive that this young team won the AFC and went to the Super Bowl? Yes, it is. But life is oftentimes, what have you done for me lately? Last week's broadcast, yesterday's meal, all of that is irrelevant. It's all about what you do right now. They're going to have a tougher schedule this year, and everybody in the conference will be out for blood. Last but not least, at number 1, can I have it please? Josh Allen. It wasn't even close this year. Year in and year out, there are so many excuses made for Josh Allen. Oh, he doesn't have enough help. Oh, the conference is hard, blah, blah, blah. I don't buy any of that, not even for a second. And for Buffalo to squander what was likely the easiest path to the Super Bowl they'll have in a very long time, no Patrick Mahomes, that makes the miss that much more notable. And for the record, I do believe he received a pity MVP similar to Charles Barkley's, and was not more deserving nor more impressive than Saquon Barkley or Lamar Jackson. So you heard it here first, folks. Hurts, Prescott, Jackson, Burrow, and Allen are all the signal callers with the most approved this season. Today is our last episode, but I guarantee it will not be my last time on you all's screen. So I won't say goodbye, only see you later. Back to the fellas at the desk.
Thanks, Brock. Surprised Geno Smith didn't make your list. Don't go anywhere. We still have more ahead.
From the Indy 500 and NASCAR
To Premier League soccer, stay with us.
Welcome back. There was a lot that happened in sports this week, but nothing was more significant than what happened on the racetrack. Let's send things over to Justin, who's got everything you need to know.
Thank you, guys. Memorial Day is often dubbed the greatest day in racing, thanks to many crown jewel events, including the Indianapolis 500. But this year's edition was a somber one. On Thursday, the racing world lost Kyle Busch after a severe battle with pneumonia that progressed into sepsis.
Kyle Busch was NASCAR. The future Hall of Famer leaves behind one of the greatest resumes the sport has ever seen. Busch became a 2-time Cup Series champion while winning 63 races at NASCAR's top level for 3 different organizations. In the O'Reilly and Truck Series, he shattered the all-time wins record and became so dominant that NASCAR had to limit the number of starts Cup Series drivers could make. Even then, Kyle found ways to win, including a dominant Truck Series victory at Dover and what became his final points-paying race of his career. Beyond the track, Kyle was far more than just one of NASCAR's greatest drivers. Busch became one of NASCAR's biggest personalities and ambassadors, never afraid to speak his mind.
Everything's great.
Through his ownership at Kyle Busch Motorsports, he helped develop many of today's Cup Series drivers. More importantly, he was a devoted husband to Samantha and a father to his sons Brexton and daughter Lennox. Together, Kyle and Samantha also helped families through the Bundle of Joy Fund. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Busch family. Kyle Busch was 41.
Despite the heavy loss, the racing world moved forward as the Vegas showman would have wanted.
At the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500, it came down to a final lap shootout between Penske driver David Malukas and Meyershank teammates Marcus Armstrong and Felix Rosenqvist. While Malukas got the jump, taking the white flag, Rosenqvist somehow found a way to make that car stick on the outside for nearly the entire lap in Indy to pass his teammate with a chance going for the win. While the 12 did everything he could, coming to the yard of bricks to keep the 60 behind, Rosenquist wasn't going to be denied, taking the checkered flag by 2/100ths of a second, the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500. The last lap pass was the 70th lead change of the day, also a record for the 500. What a month it's been for Rosenquist, as he also became a father earlier in May. On to the action in Charlotte, where Mother Nature played a factor all weekend, with the 600 being no exception. Late in the race, Daniel Suarez's crew chief Ryan Sparks made the call to put on 2 tires on the number 7 to take the lead. Suarez was able to hold off the dominant Toyotas through 2 restarts, and when the rain came with 27 laps remaining, NASCAR called the race official. Suarez earns his 3rd career Cup victory, fitting for the team operating out of the former Kyle Busch Motorsports shop. Daniel was also closely tied to Kyle Busch throughout much of his career, first driving for KBM in the Truck Series after moving from Mexico to the States, and later becoming a Kyle's teammate at Joe Gibbs Racing.
One final note from the weekend, Kimi Antonelli picked up his 4th consecutive win in the Canadian Grand Prix. He now leads the standings by 43 points over his teammate George Russell, yet the season is far from over.
Street poet 21 Savage said, "Still gotta see the Gunners win Premier League." Well, he got his wish. Anna has more on our friends across the pond.
Thanks, Jonah. Another season of Premier League is over, and after 22 years, Arsenal wins the trophy. The Gunners beat Palace 2-1, but few will remember the game, only the celebration. The staff were wearing Arsenal's white away kit, followed out by players adoring the traditional red. Champions 26 was decorated across the back of the players and the staff. Arsenal, Manchester City, Man United, Aston Villa and Liverpool have qualified for the next Champions League season. Bournemouth and Sunderland have qualified for Europa League, and Brighton have earned a spot in the Conference League. West Ham, Burnley and Wolverhampton have relegated and will play the EFL Championship next season. And Coventry City, Ipswich Town and Hull City are going to join the league next season. West Ham relegation was confirmed on the final day of the season after Tottenham beat Everton to finish 2 points clear of the drop zone. Back to you.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, tough one for West Ham United there. After this short break, we'll wrap up this season of the 303 Countdown.
Tyler, what time is it?
Debate time. We'll be right back.
We are officially 1 week away from the NBA Finals, but before we get into that, it's time to recognize a team who already won a championship. Congratulations to the Northwestern University's women's lacrosse team, who captured their 9th national championship on Sunday afternoon with a victory against North Carolina in Evanston. But Monique, I know Northwestern students haven't been the only ones celebrating.
That's right, Collin. New York is going crazy. After firing head coach Tom Thibodeau last year after he took the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in over 2 decades, simply because they failed to win one more game, many thought that the Knicks would bust again this year, including me. But after a convincing playoff run, the Knicks are back in the finals for the first time since 1999. Take a look at what the league and what the world was like the last time the Knicks made the finals.
The last time the Knicks were in the finals, Livin' La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin topped the Billboard Hot 100. At number 2, it was 6-piece None the Rich's Kiss Me. And at number 3, it was none other than TLC's hit single, No Scrubs. Here are some items that did not exist in 1999. The camera phone tops the list. It wasn't released until 2000. Now we all know that Facebook and YouTube were released in the mid-2000s. The iPod, invented in 2001. The Wii, 2006. And the Blu-ray disc, which is already out of fashion, only came out in 2000. None of these things existed the last time the Knicks went to the finals. The original AI led the NBA in points that year, and the MVP, none other than Karl Malone. So who won the championship that year? That's right, it was the San Antonio Spurs. They bested the Knicks 4-1. So this year's NBA Finals could be a rematch of the 1999 championship if the Spurs make it out of the West. So how old was this young squad when the Knicks were last in the finals? while Jalen Brunson was only 2 years old. The center, Cat, was 3. Josh Hart was only 4. And OG Anunoby was 1 year old. And Mikal Bridges was only 2. There are 9 other Knicks players who were not even born the last time the Knicks went to the championship. So if this young squad is able to pull it off against the team that comes out of the West, that would mean that they are the first Knicks championship winning team since 1973 when they beat the Los Angeles Lakers in an NBA that only had 17 teams. The NBA and the ABA had not even merged the last time the Knicks won the championship.
So the Knicks are hot. They have not lost a game of basketball in the month of May. And while many are saying that the winner of the West is the surefire championship, the Knicks have certainly proved that they are a serious contender this postseason. The only question that remains is, will the 2026 championship be a rematch of the 1999 finals, or will the Knicks face the defending champions in the Oklahoma City Thunder, who seek to become the first repeat champs for the first time since the 2018 Golden State Warriors? We'll have to wait to find out. The Thunder and the Spurs battle it out in tonight's Game 6, with the Thunder up 3-2. Back to the desk.
Great story, Monique. Let's bring you in here because the Knicks have won, count them, 11 straight playoff games. They await the winner of the Western Conference Finals. But Monique, is this the greatest run to a championship ever?
No, it is not. There's another NBA team that had a greater run to the playoffs, and that would be the 2017 Warriors, which is the closest NBA team has ever gotten to sweeping their entire way through the postseason. The 2017 Warriors swept the first round against Portland, the second round against Utah, the third round against San Antonio. The only team that beat them was LeBron's Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 4 after he had a triple-double and Kyrie had 40 points, but they came back in Game 5 to seal the deal and take the chip home. They are the only team to go 14-1 in the postseason. But I will say there was another team that had a really interesting postseason run. The '89 Lakers swept their way through the first 3 rounds and then got swept in the finals. So I think that's interesting. But no, this would not be the greatest postseason run, not even close.
I don't think you can necessarily have the greatest postseason run ever if you basically have a super team. I think the 2011 Dallas Mavericks have the greatest run of all time. Dirk Nowitzki was the only all-star on the team with, don't get me wrong, a bunch of great role players. But they beat the Trailblazers, I believe, in 6 games. They swept the defending champion Lakers. They beat the young Thunder in 5. And then they beat the Heat in 6 with, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh. Undoubtedly, Dirk Nowitzki, that was a great run. He was averaging like 27 points per game, 10 rebounds. He was amazing. That's easily the most insane run in championship history.
Well, I like that 2011 Mavericks team, first of all. That was a good pull. I'm going to take it a little further back to 1996 in our very own city, Chicago, where the Bulls absolutely went through a tear. It was the year Michael Jordan was coming back from his first retirement from baseball. The first round, they get through the Heat with Tim Hardaway and Alonzo Mourning. The second round, they take care of the Knicks in 5 when they had Ewing and Oakley and Starks. In the conference finals, they swept the Magic with Shaq and Penny and Horace Grant. They beat the team that the year before they lost to in the playoffs that year. And then in the NBA Finals, they took care of the Supersonics with Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp. They were up 3-0, and they did kind of drop games 4 and 5, but they took care of business at home in Game 6. To me, that's the most dominant finals run because you had Jordan, you had Pippen, you had Rodman, you had Phil Jackson, you had Steve Kerr. The list goes on and on and on and on. So I think Dirk Nowitzki had one of the greatest individual runs. I'm not going to disagree with that, but to answer the original question, if this Knicks team had to go up against the 4 teams that I just mentioned that the Bulls had to go up against, the Knicks would get absolutely crushed by all 4 of those teams, including that Bulls one. So that makes it 5, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're allowed to switch sports, but I did it anyway.
Right.
I'm going to go with the 2007 New York Football Giants. It was just an incredible run, a major underdog. They were an underdog all the way through. 4 games on the road. They beat the Buccaneers. They beat Brock's and Tony Romo's Dallas Cowboys in the second round. Then they beat noted Southern Mississippi women's volleyball booster Brett Favre's Green Bay Packers in below freezing temperatures in the NFC Championship game on an overtime field goal. Unbelievable. And if you could do me a favor and put the camera on my friend Collin over here, talk about this Super
Why are you
Bowl.
gonna put it on me?
They beat the previously undefeated New England Patriots, team that everybody thought was going to be a dynasty. They were going to be remembered forever, and now
So this is why
they're
you brought it
remembered
up.
for being losers. The greatest play of all time, David Tyree, helmet catch. There's just no greater sports moment than that's ever happened. And then, of course, Tom Brady, game on the line, chance to win the Super Bowl and have the legacy cemented as the only undefeated 19-win team in history. And he gets sacked, and he throws 3 incompletions, turns the ball over, cannot get the job done. Several years later, gets suspended for alleged cheating. But the 2007 New York Football Giants is the greatest championship run of all time.
You know, if we're going to talk football, we have to mention the 89 49ers, who had a 100-point differential in that postseason. They allowed the Vikings to score 13 points. The Rams, just 3. And the Broncos scored 10 in a 55-10 blowout in the Super Bowl. So we'll circle back to the NBA, which we talked about in a minute. But first, let's go back to baseball. While the Cubs slipped, the White Sox are better than they've been in 2 years, thanks to rookie Munetaka Murakami. I don't think it's crazy to start asking, does he have a chance at AL MVP?
No.
Yes.
I don't think so.
No.
His history will tell you that he doesn't. And it's not, I love him. He's been a great player. It's been a great signing. I think baseball is relevant for both teams now for the first time in a while. But just historically speaking, the last rookie to win MVP in the same year, Ichiro Suzuki, 2001. It's only happened twice. Fred Lynn did it in the 1975 Boston Red Sox. So with those years, I mean, specifically with Ichiro, he batted .350. He led the league in stolen bases. He was a Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, and he won. And he was also much older. I mean, I guess Munetaka is a little bit older than the average rookie is too. But I just think that you have to, lead the league in something. And even when that happens, for example, 2017, Aaron Judge didn't win AL MVP in his rookie year when he hit 52 home runs. Pete Alonso, 2 years later, 2019.
Pete Alonso, what a guy.
Set the record with 53 home runs for a rookie. Did not win MVP. He was 7th in MVP voting that year. I think there are a lot of other guys that will probably win. I think that if he can continue what he does, he'll certainly have a chance to win an MVP in his career. But just historically speaking, there isn't a chance. Even though I think what he's done for Chicago baseball is amazing.
They'll probably give it to Aaron Judge because that's how they do.
Yep.
But here's the thing about the MVP award, and when I am on the committee, I'm going to weigh off the field energy factor. So what do they really do for the team? I mean, Munetaka Murakami has right field rocking for the first time in years. They're chanting MVP. Everybody's into the game. It's must-see television, and he is the most valuable player to the Chicago White Sox. The Yankees are going to have their corporate suites filled up regardless of who's on the field. But people are flocking to right field to watch Mooney, and he is delivering. He's got my vote so far for AL MVP.
Well, I don't disagree with you that he has a huge impact to the team, but that wasn't the question. The question is he going to be the favorite to win AL MVP, or is he deserving? And right now,
Question was,
I
does
don't
he have a
think so.
chance?
You got to talk. It's my turn. So anyways, what I will say is that the White Sox right now, they're only one game above 500. I mean, we're still early. We're in the final days of May, so there's still time for him to build his case. But right now, the Yankees are the best team in baseball right now, and the biggest headliner. What did I just tell you?
Coming from a Boston fan,
Right
too,
now,
that's how you know.
Hey, we'll get to the Red Sox, don't worry. But right now, Aaron Judge is the biggest headliner. He's the star of the show, and he's the biggest reason why the Yankees are the best team in the AL right now. So we'll see what happens, afterwards.
I just don't think you can use the record as something for this conversation when Mike Trout, won 3 MVPs, 2 of which were when they won 70 games that year. Baseball is a completely different sport where one player doesn't bat every time, a pitcher doesn't pitch every single game. So I get what you're saying, But I don't think that you can say, oh, they're one game above 500, and that's a reason that he can't win it. I just think historically he won't win it. But I mean, like I said, the Angels went 74-88 when Mike Trout won an MVP.
Shout out Angels, man. It's tough times over there.
Oh boy. All right, let's wrap up back in the NBA because these conference finals have been awesome. Well, except for the Cavs next series, but we'll get to that. The Thunder went up 3-2 in Game 5, but the Spurs are home tonight to try and force a Game 7. Fellas and Monique, it's prediction time. Who's winning this series, and are they beating the Knicks in the finals?
I think that the Knicks have a better chance at winning the finals than a lot of people are giving them credit for. Yeah, they got to play the 76ers. This was a 76ers team that beat the best team in the East with a healthy Joel Embiid. You know, and Tyrese Maxey was 5th in the NBA in points. This is if the game 1 in Cleveland goes the other way, that would have been a completely different series. They had one of the greatest NBA comebacks in the last 7.5 minutes in all of NBA history. So you have to give them more credit. However, I still think that the team that comes out of the West will beat them. I just think it'll be more than just a blowout. Now, as it comes to the game tonight, I do think that the Spurs get this one. We deserve a Game 7, and I think that they are going to be hungry. We're talking about Wemby, who cried after losing a regular season game. He's not going to lose this one. What it's going to take is him getting to work in the post. He has to stay in the paint. He has to stay aggressive, play above the rim, because whenever he doesn't do that, they have been losing. So they have found a way to contain SGA. He hasn't really been scoring more than 30 points this entire series. Chet has basically not really been a factor, especially when it comes to Wemby. Hartenstein has been doing a much better job guarding him. So it's going to be really close, but I think, and maybe I'm biased because I want it to be the Spurs, and I think that the Spurs Knicks are going to give us a movie theater finals, and it's not going to be a sweep. I think that it'll go to at least 6 games.
I think the first question about, will the Knicks have a chance to beat them? No, I just think no one can guard Wemby. And like you said about SGA, where they were able to handle him so that he didn't score more than 30 points. That's how good he is. That's the normal thing for him. So I just think that they have no chance. It'll be fun, but there's no chance the Knicks win.
Yeah, I agree with Monique. I think the Spurs take Game 6, and then Game 7, it's up for grabs. But I think we can all agree, no matter what, I feel like whoever wins the West is going to win the championship.
For the sake of my beloved Midtown Manhattan, I don't think the Knicks can win the championship. I just don't think it can happen. They got to keep the order in the neighborhood. NYPD, they just can't. They're not going to be able to handle the Knicks winning the championship.
Well, I mean, analytically speaking, they did lose the last 3 games.
Our countdown clock has run out one final time. The 3-3 countdown has been here to help get us better at our craft and help you learn more about the world of sports. We hope you have enjoyed our show and our 3-3 as a whole. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time.